Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing. If you dig the show, we hope you'll consider supporting us with a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For less than the price of a massage parlor handjob, you can help us continue to provide you with our own sticky situations. Just visit patreon.com/FistShark or click the big Patreon button at fistshark.com for more details. And thanks for listening. Weird flyer from Balthazar.
Oh, the Satanist from downstairs.
Yeah, yeah, the one, and I guess I'm a little confused about what he's doing here. He seems to be having offering a service.
Oh, he's kicking that off, is he?
I mean, I guess so. The pamphlet says, "Has your child been taken in by a dangerous cult?" And I kind of thought it was weird coming from him because, I know he's very spiritual.
Hey, look, don't judge a book by its goat skull helmet, okay? Balthazar may be a Satanist, but he's not a cultist. He just really loves Satan.
Oh.
And lesser demons.
Oh, okay, all right.
Don't get me wrong, okay? Balthazar has his flaws. I know I defend him a lot of the time, but he rented that downstairs basement. He gets to do whatever he wants in it, just like the dentist across the way. And he may partake in human sacrifice. He may summon cloven-hooved monsters to wreak havoc upon financing. But he hates cults. Hates them. I once asked him what he thought of Charles Manson, and do you know what Balthazar said?
What's that?
He's shit. That's how much he hates cults.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. That surprises me, actually, because I would have thought Balthazar, of all people, would have had a bit of admiration for Manson's work, but I guess he doesn't like the way he did it.
Exactly, it's the methods. Now, when you look at Balthazar and his similarly robed chanting associates, you learn that they're an affiliation of adults with a mutual interest in the fiery pits of hell.
Okay, all right, so it's more like a club.
Exactly.
Huh.
They are a Satan-worshipping club, and they hate how cults give them a bad name.
So then what's Balthazar intending to do about this? It's all I see on the pamphlet is, "Has your child been taken by a dangerous religious belief? Call Balthazar in the number."
Well, essentially, he's offering a deprogramming service. You know how when people are abducted or indoctrinated into a cult, sometimes they're rescued, convinced to leave the compound, what have you, and they're sat down with psychological professionals who set them on the right path and, clear their head of all of this mumbo-jumbo snake oil they've been sold.
I respect that. I really do respect that. That's noble of him.
We employed a similar method to get people to stop buying Zunes that time.
Zune sales were a real serious problem, and I'm glad that we managed to get that under control at the very least.
Well, that's why every Bostonite has a trunculo in their pocket now.
That's fantastic. So he's going, getting contacted by parents, and has he done this yet? Like, has he gotten any clients?
Yeah. He's gotten a few sort of concerned families who are like, my teenage child, they were going through their rebellious phase, arguing with their parents, a lot of tension at home, and got preyed upon in this sort of confused state. They're still growing up, they're still learning about the world. One of these religious cults, these sects, get hold of them and essentially indoctrinate them into their faith or whatever, their wacky beliefs. And the family feels at that point like they lost their child for good. But deprogramming services, like the one Balthazar offers, really just clears their mind of all that, gets families the kids that they used to know back.
That's beautiful. That's great. So tell me a little bit about the process then. Like he's going out and going to cult compounds and picking up these children. I know that oftentimes this is done against their will, because the parents contract them out, and then they go and sort of put a bag over their head and stick them in the back of the van. I assume it's something similar to that.
Replace van with horse-drawn carriage. It's the only way Balthazar rides. He likes to go in style. But more or less the same thing. He says sometimes the bagging process is the most fun part for him. But when it gets time to bring them to the basement and get them deprogrammed, that's when the fun stops and the work begins.
Right.
He'll start off with basically getting them to question their beliefs. He'll sit them down and he'll say, look, your family's very concerned for you. They feel like you're not the same person you used to be. Also, what kind of name for a god is Yahweh? It sounds a bit made up, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It's a weird, like Shrek. It's just a noise. So he starts off subtle like that. It's very, very subtle what's going on here right now. And he just walks them step by step. He'll go through whatever holy texts they might have. Right now he's dealing with some book called the Bible.
What a terrible name for a book.
I know. The plot is even worse. It's incoherent. You can barely follow it. More characters than Game of Thrones. And a talking snake.
I mean, that's just silly. That whole thing sounds absurd.
In that book, there is an apple you can eat that makes you afraid to not wear clothes.
You eat an apple, and it makes you afraid to be naked.
Yes. Ashamed even.
That is so strange.
Yeah.
And people believe this.
For some reason.
Wow.
Like, I wake up in the morning, and I'm already ashamed to be naked and instantly throw clothes on and then get in the shower. I don't need an apple to do that. I don't know where this magic apple is that does things that's already true in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, no, that's bizarre. I can't imagine.
So Balthazar basically has been spending a lot of time just shooting holes in the belief systems of these people and this so-called Bible that I've never heard of before, but has apparently become very popular in town.
It doesn't seem like it's very difficult to convince people of the insanity of it. I mean, it's just absurd.
I mean, there's one plot arc that fires up, and like most plot arcs in this book, completely abandoned after a few chapters. But basically, there's this guy in there called, what's his name? Just Juice?
Okay.
Just Juice Chris. Juicy Chris, right? Came down from the sky as a baby, then got killed to impress his dad, who was also himself.
Wait. Hang on. You had me at the beginning. Like, some of that it's weird, but space alien comes to Earth, sees what it's like to be human. That's a pretty, good start for like a sci-fi story or something like that. I can see where that would go, but then he sacrifices himself to impress his father, who is also him.
Yes. You see, according to the Bible, right, mankind was bad and had to be punished. So the God figure wanted to punish people, but liked them, so didn't really want to do it, but he had to do it because it was the rules that he made. So he sends his son to the planet Earth.
Who is him?
Who is really him in disguise, but he doesn't know it's him in disguise.
Wait, he doesn't know he is himself?
Yeah, I think he injected himself with the nano machines from Metal Gear Solid 4 that make you forget plot holes.
Okay, alright.
So he goes down to Earth, forgets that he's God, then tricks people into stringing him up on a bit of wood so he dies.
He tricks people into tying him to a stick.
Yes, so that he's punished instead of the people he wanted to punish. So Yowie turns into Juicy Chris, gets put on a bit of wood, therefore saving humanity from himself.
From himself.
And his son, who is also himself.
So he made a whole bunch of arbitrary rules, then realized that the arbitrary rules that he set might not be possible to live by. So he sent himself as a baby to make up for it? Killing himself, but not really killing himself because it's not really him, but it is him, is somehow supposed to make up for the arbitrary rules that he established.
Donnie Darko makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Donnie Darko makes a lot more sense than this. This is just... I'm just so glad Balthazar's doing something about it because, it sounds horrible. People living like that and believing these just clearly insane things.
Clearly, it's a powerful cult that's got a firm grasp on a lot of people. Somehow working in the shadows, because like I say, I've never heard of it.
It's news to me.
I did try and bring a Bibble into the office to show you, but it burnt to ash in my hand the moment I walked into the office.
Huh.
I don't know if that's something the senior partners have got going on in here.
Probably for the best, honestly, because it sounds to me like this book could have just like a really negative influence on the unimpressionable people. You wouldn't want Craig getting a hold of a Bibli.
Not at all, not at all. Imagine the kind of depraved, sick things if he got hold of that kind of literature. No, I think we are in a much safer position taking all of these poor, victimized, preyed upon children and locking them in a basement with robed Satanists.
Yeah.
I tell you what that is. That is traditional American family values right there. So, Conrad, have you, and I'm not being funny or anything or using a euphemism, but have you opened any bags of Cheetos lately?
That stuff gets all over my fingers, and then it stains everything I touch for the next 24 hours, so I avoid them like the plague at this point. They're delicious, but
the cheesy, corny goodness is too much to comprehend, but you haven't had any real contact with Cheetos, no?
No.
Have you heard about any recent complaints regarding bags of the popular snack product, the Cheeto?
Why, did we run a bad campaign or something?
We didn't run anything.
Okay, well that's good, because, Cheetos is a valued client, and I'd hate to disappoint or upset them.
Yeah, speaking of valued clients, have you heard from Cheetoh Macguire lately? And this is related.
No. Last I knew, he took a trip to New Zealand. He was, running around doing a Hobbit tour or something. I think he's still a little miffed about not being included.
Right, yeah, that was our last bead on him. But it does turn out that people have been opening bags of Cheetos and finding Cheetoh Macguire inside them. There isn't really a more subtle way to put it than that. A small Cheetoh Macguire is being found in bags of Cheetos.
Are there multiple Tobys being found, or is it just every once in a while Cheetoh Macguire is showing up in a Cheetos bag?
Well, this is where we start to enter mystery territory. There are a lot of people around the globe. There are a lot more bags of Cheetos than there are people. That's just scientific fact.
Mm-hmm.
We've been unable to verify accurately if any instances of Toby appearing in a bag of Cheetos has coincided with another instance at the same time. We know it's happening a lot. Potentially a lot more and spread across such a geographic distance that it should seem impossible for one Cheetoh Macguire, but let's not forget how fast Jason Voorhees could get about when he was motivated.
Well, that's true.
I hate that we lost him as a client. But the thing about Toby, I sort of see the connection, because he also has that cheesy, corny flavour that we love so much. But beyond that, the mysteries include: how did he get so small? What's his goal? Why, when discovered, does he squawk like a bird, scrabble out the bag, and then run out naked except for the dust coverings that conceal his most intimate of portions? How many Tobey Maguires are doing this? Is it just one? And most of all, what?
So he's coming out of the bag naked?
Yes, well, I say naked. He is somewhat swaddled in the Cheetoh dust.
Right.
That is, of course, the one saving grace of Cheetoh's residues, is that it will stick and cling.
I mean, it's like body paint.
Somewhat like body paint. He basically just comes out looking like a very orange Tobey Maguire. Sometimes he'll wear one of the smaller Cheetos, or like a broken off bit as like a fig leaf.
Maybe we need to find some sort of connective tissue that explains this. Is there a specific flavor of Cheetos that he winds up in? Like, is he the nacho cheese, or occasionally they have like a lime, a spicy lime, or a flamin' hot?
To date, there's only been one report of him being in a bag of Cheetos that wasn't just your bog standard original crunchy Cheetos.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't appeared in any puffs. He hasn't appeared in any of the oven baked. There's one recorded instance of him coming out of a flaming hot, and Tobey Maguire was not happy when he came out of a flaming bag of Cheetos small. Small and nude.
Maybe that's something to look for then. Like, because if he's primarily coming out of standard Cheetos, then it stands to reason that we could just be on the lookout there. I mean,
it narrows down the search. It narrows down the search to a specific flavour of Cheeto. It doesn't narrow down the stores, the states, the countries. I mean, this is a global phenomenon, the Cheeto Toby. Or as some have called it in the media, the Cheetoby. I don't approve of that. I think it's sensationalising what I believe to be very bad behaviour on Tobey Maguire's part.
I couldn't agree more. It's kind of reckless and irresponsible.
I mean, absolutely. To become small and crawl naked into a bag of Cheetos, which, let's not forget, are opened by adults sometimes, who don't need to see that. It's absolutely shocking behaviour on the part of Tobey Maguire, star of The Great Gatsby, supporting actor.
And you have to ask, is he climbing into the bag while in production, or is he opening the bag and then resealing it from inside? And how's he doing that?
That bit, strangely enough, makes the most sense, because let's not forget about the resins that Tobey famously secretes. So it is not out of the realm of possibility that he can open the bag first. Now, what interests me there is, as small as he is when he scrabbles out and runs out, I mean, think about an oversized cockroach, but naked and covered in Cheeto dust, and being Tobey Maguire, but very small. He seems too small, unless he's got some proportional strength going on, like some sort of X-Man. He seems a bit too small to be able to pull both the sides of the packaging apart, which makes me wonder if he's got an accomplice opening the bags for him.
Oh, someone that he's working with who is enabling him to get it. Because, yeah, if he's that small, the idea of him being able to even get his arms around an opening point for a bag to tear it open seems a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah, well, let's not forget that a couple of weeks ago at a press conference, Ving Rhames said, and I quote, "Fuck Cheetos, I hope one day everyone opens a bag of Cheetos and finds a small naked Tobey Maguire scurrying out." Which on its own didn't seem particularly damning, but when coupled, and it did take us a couple of weeks to connect the dots, but when you pair what Ving Rhames said about hoping a small Tobey Maguire jumps out of Cheetos with the fact that a small Tobey Maguire is jumping out of Cheetos, I don't know, something seems a little bit off about that. Now, I've ran this with some private investigators, with the police, with some of the higher-ups here, some of our fellow executives, and so far, we haven't quite made head nor tail of the cipher that Ving Rhames was using when he alluded to some sort of Tobey Maguire figure coming out of Cheetos. We're not quite sure what that means, or if it's got any connection to Tobey Maguire coming out of Cheetos small. But we're working around the clock on it.
It seems like there could be some kind of connection to it. Yeah, I see what you're saying, because Ving Rhames talking about a small Tobey Maguire coming out of Cheetos is exactly what's happening in a weird way, right?
I mean, in a way, what he said is almost exactly what happened. 60% what happened. But it's that missing 40% that's giving us pause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's not forget the other connection as well. Ving Rhames is very big, but Tobey Maguire, when he is in Cheetos, is very small. Opposites attract.
Oh, they're magnetic.
Yeah. It's like, Mr. Glass and Unbreakable.
Right.
Those two characters.
Right, two sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So this is happening.
Oh, this is happening. Yeah.
And it's not a thing we completely understand or can control, at least as of right now, right?
This is true. No real grasp of the situation, no way to direct its course.
Here's what we need to do then. We need to make people think that this was the plan all along.
Oh, okay.
All we have to do is go to Cheetos and say, hey, look, this is going to happen, right? There's no way we can stop Tobey Maguire from appearing in your bags of Cheetos.
If Tobey Maguire wants to be small and be in a bag of Cheetos, Tobey Maguire is going to be small and be in a bag of Cheetos. I mean, it's that famous saying that people have been talking about for years in America. The only way to stop Tobey Maguire in a bag of Cheetos is Tobey Maguire in a bag of Cheetos.
Right.
That's what the Tobey Amendment is all about.
Precisely. So if that can't be prevented, we need to lean into it.
Just roll.
Right. Instead of people opening a bag of Cheetos to find a miniaturized Tobey Maguire naked, covered in Cheeto dust and crawling out.
Unpleasant.
Right. Instead of being horrified by that because they weren't expecting it, we just need to put on the packaging, free inside, your chance to win a miniaturized Tobey Maguire.
Hearing you say that sentence just now makes me want to buy a bag of Cheetos.
Right?
Yeah, like you can keep fucking talking. I'm going to Walmart. Craig, get petty cash. I want Cheetos.
Yeah, no, and here's the great thing about this whole situation, right? We both know that Tobey doesn't eat Cheetos at all. Like, he's not even really a food eater. The man only eats paper.
Well, that's how he creates his resins and nests.
Exactly, but that's perfect then. All we have to do then is include a little card in the package of Cheetos that says, sorry you didn't win. And then if Tobey's in there, in that bag, he'll just eat the card.
And that only helps Tobey because he's always on the lookout for more material to build his resins and nests.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a win. It's a win for Tobey because he's going to have a little snack when he gets in there. It's a win for us because it allows us to reinforce the idea that there's some sort of like victory in having Tobey Maguire come out of your Cheetos. And everybody's happy.
Especially the Maguire beasts that spawn from those paper nests. They're going to be stinging a lot of picnickers this summer.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chan. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, talk is cheap unless you're a consultant. Goodbye.